Welcome back. You're watching the Young Tech's Dream Decade. We're in conversation with the founder of MakeMyTrip.com, Deep Kalra. From a garage operation to a NASDAQ-listed company, Deep Kalra has seen many highs and lows. He now gets candid about his business model, the mistakes he made, and the lessons he's learned. All right, so we have Neetu Bhatia of Kyazunga to join us. She couldn't make an early morning flight. She took the earliest flight that was possible. So Neetu, why don't you start off with Deep?
Can you talk a little bit about what are the challenges that you faced at some certain inflection points of the company?
For us, it's been more around the scaling up of team than necessarily of scaling up of business. So in 2004, 2005, we were short of 100 people when we launched in India. And now we're just about short of 1,000 people, about 1,000 people. So there have been people challenges. In terms of business, if you look at it, we were probably about $20 million in gross bookings, just to give you an idea of size before launching in India. And if things go according to plan this year, then we'll probably be about $1 billion or so. So the growth has been tremendous. And why I say the challenges in people, because I think scaling up of the team, I find is the most critical thing. Both in terms of just people, individuals scaling up for the next level, and not everyone does, so that's my big learning. In addition to that, I think the specialization that is required beyond that 50, 100% stage, where I'm sure all of us do everything, and then after that you realize that you need specialists for engineering, you need specialists for product design, you need specialists for marketing, because your skills have pretty much got tapped out, also because you get so busy doing other stuff. And that's the challenge always, I think, for young businesses, to be able to attract the best talent from industry, and I think equally important, perhaps more challenging, to retain them.
That actually leads me to sort of my next question, which is how easy has it been, or how do you pick and choose what battles you're going to fight and what you're going to let others fight?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, actually. I think it's fair to say, for me, it wasn't that difficult, because it's just, you know, what type of person are you? There are people who are control freaks, and nothing wrong with that. They're just people who deep dive. They know the domain so well. So I had a big advantage. I didn't know travel. I'm not a technologist. Barely knew the internet, just more around a user. So definitely a generalist, knew a little bit of marketing, so a little bit of stuff. So it's very easy to give up control when you're not a specialist, any one of those. But then we have specialists who are at senior levels who are really, really good at what they do. It becomes harder for them to give it up, not for any other reason. They find that the person or the people handling what they were handling are perhaps not doing that great a job as they could be doing. And that's the tricky one. So if you want your people to grow, I think you've got to let them go the mile, fall, make a few mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes. Because if you're going to be looking over their shoulder and second guessing and not let them really go ahead and grow, I think at some point of time they're just going to say this is not interesting, or this is not challenging enough, and I'm not really getting the entrepreneurial promise that I came here for.
So Deep, what have been your big mistakes in the journey so far?
There are some regrets, and there are some. So for one, I always say, I've got on record as saying I wish I'd done computer engineering myself. So it would really make a big difference. I think perhaps we launched in India a trifle too late. Okay. Even a year too late, while we think we read the market right and sure. Market was right. But I think instead of 2005, that could have been 2004, thereby extending our lead as a first mover advantage. I think we could have done that.
So, Kunal, your question?
In your view, how do you look at the hyper-competitive, well-funded landscape of the online travel space in India?
Right.
And any learnings that you could share about how you go about building a brand that breaks apart?
Yeah, no, undoubtedly the similarities are there between our business and yours, and I think you built a wonderful business in Snapdeal very quickly. So the learning for your sector could be perhaps take low-hanging stuff. Spas and all are great because you get deep discounts, but low-hanging stuff would be stuff that people need all the time. I heard a couple of people in my office say that they bought your Cardnation package. It was cheap, it was small, and they said, hey, this is something which is high on the utilitarian kind of graph, so let's go for that. So I'm sure there are like 50 other things where people just, I think, sample you and test you and say, yeah, this thing works. Make sure that you grow your customer base really big, people who've interacted with your brand. I mean, as we all know, brands aren't built by advertising alone. They're obviously built through experiences. And the positive experience with your brand will really help reinforce customer confidence. and then enable them to go, enable those folks to build, to buy other things from you.
So 2010, Deep, was a very special year for you. Make My Trip got listed on the NASDAQ, and I believe Neetu has a question regarding that. Please go ahead.
Just curious, why did you choose the U.S.? I mean, there's got a lot of regulatory constraints. There's a lot of Sarbanes-Oxley rules and a bunch of disclosure requirements. Why the U.S. versus India, which is sort of where your natural market and growth is coming from?
We debated this topic to death at the board level, and the board was literally split down the middle in terms of US versus India. But the more kind of deeper we went into it and we looked into, so how many internet companies are there listed on these exchanges? So the fact is there's one in India and there were a couple of hundred in the US.
What do you think is the time frame for a startup in e-commerce space to get to the IPO level first? And then second, how much money does one need to raise to be at that level?
So e-commerce businesses in India, I think if you were to start one today, I think you'll see exits definitely shorter than 10 years. I'd like to say maybe entrepreneurs should come in with a 7 to 8 year horizon. So you have stamina for the course, a bit like a marathon runner, right? So they know they have to run those 26 odd miles and you pace yourself, right? But if I was to hazard a guess in your kind of business, I think we are talking 20 million US upwards. I think in terms of going all the way at the right, again, without any acquisitions really. In travel, as you see, most of the businesses have taken in, are still taking in money, but have taken in a lot of money just to get to IPO. So, we guys took in, all told, if you look at it, about 35. And that's the kind of money we're glad that we could return give a good return on that capital. But, I think e-commerce 20 plus. Yeah.
What was the premium in terms of coming from an emerging market like India?
Investors were hungry for good Indian companies. There were, I think, when we listed already, maybe a dozen or so companies which are listed in the US. But people wanted to see professionally run companies out of India. If you go through Sarbanes-Oxley, like Neetu said, then you've passed a pretty an acid test and you've come out kosher out of that. That helps a lot. And they were saying, why do we have 100 companies out of China and none out of India in the internet space? So that worked to our advantage. They liked that, yeah. Guys, those were some fantastic questions, really. I think you've hit all the right spots, and I hope I was able to answer them. But I think it's also a good time. I'm getting hungry. Hopefully you are too. So let's grab something to eat.
So Deep left our young Turks with some food for thought on how to manage their business. After the break, it's time for some fun and games. Stay tuned.